All right. It's week 1. Welcome in. It's Wednesday night. You already know what time it is. It is SEC After Dark. Please excuse my voice and sounding like a 60-year-old smoker, but I've had some nice little gnarly congestion all week, and I've been sounding like this for quite some time. But I'm Corey Burton, joining alongside of me in this magical mystery tour of SEC After Dark. It's Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas. How we doing, boys?
Great.
We got
football season
by a hurricane. Yeah.
No, yeah. Stephen got
about
by a hurricane. And
Jeb, your house is still standing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
So,
been hiding up in Tennessee.
One more week in the penitentiary.
Yeah.
So Jeb,
Jeb is in the Rutherford County Jail at the moment in Tennessee, and
they're letting him broadcast from the hole.
Right.
So, an interrogation room B.
So, Stacey, Cass, how y'all doing?
Everybody in the chat. We are presented by DeadSoxy. Hey, Ole Miss fans, and all of college football fans, at that matter. Our friends at DeadSoxy have a unique way for you to back your favorite team by subscribing to the Ole Miss NIL sock subscription. You'll get the latest, freshest socks, and also directly support Ole Miss athletics. You're not just a subscriber; you're a member. And as a member, you get perks like top priority access, new Ole Miss socks, a standing 25% discount, and free shipping, plus score a free pair of limited edition Juice Kiffin socks when you sign up. No membership fees, no fuss. You can pause, skip, or cancel at any time. Just add a pair of NIL socks to your cart, set your delivery frequency, and you're all set. You can also buy other colors too if you really want to. You can buy purple and gold. You can buy crimson and white. You could buy red and black. I don't know about orange. You probably could.
I bet you could get orange.
I bet you could get orange.
Yeah.
Jeb, whenever you get internet down there in the jail, you can maybe order you some. So what you need to do, ask the warden if you can get on DeadSoxy.com and join the Ole Miss NIL.
And I do not know if DeadSoxy takes commissary.
I don't think they do. No. But as always, stay soxy, my friends.
By the way, before we get started with Bet Online, just a second, does not look like Jeb's background is like those old Olin Mills photos.
Yeah.
Like everybody's parents.
Yeah.
That's the background to their portrait.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So Jeb, turn to the side just a little bit.
Right.
Smile. Chin up, chest out, shoulders tilted.
Makes me think about Faux Polini on Twitter with the cat.
Yes. That's
so.
Great.
Old Jeb was heading north to Tennessee, and old Ray was heading south. That's what happened there.
That's right. So
I still don't do those hurricanes, man. I'm not that much of a Florida person yet.
Yeah.
They start hitting. I'm rooting for Tennessee.
Steve's got our new goodies, our pick segment. So our other sponsor for the pick segment and the show kind of in general is betonline.ag. They're your number one source for all of your sports betting needs. They'll be providing the lines for us tonight. We got some interesting ones, actually. They have everything you need, live action. They have futures, so you can bet on Heisman, conference winners. You can flip over to the NFL, do the same, MVPs, coaches of the year, things like that. You can also bet on MLB, which is happening right now, NHL and NBA when those get fired up, and, of course, college football, which we'll be betting on here in just a little bit. Okay, so what you want to do is head to betonline.ag right now. Enter the promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Bleav is the promo code. Get the 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline.ag. It's where the game starts, and they have online casino as well. Guys, let's get started. It's week 1.
Let's do it.
It's week 1. So, Lightning. I was at the. I was all set to sit in the bulldozer in the rubble pile at Vandy, and the weather did not cooperate, so I actually did not make it into the stadium. But let's just say
ain't much of a stadium.
There's not much of one, and there was not much of a defense to play in that stadium. They gave up 28 points to Hawaii. Was that that was the final, right?
38-25, 35-28.
Yeah, something like that. It was. I was like, what the? Watching that game at the beginning, I'm like, okay, Hawaii, I see you. They're just moving the ball at will. I was like, okay, Vandy, when's your defense gonna show up?
Right. And Andy has trouble on the lines.
Yeah, it's going to be troubling.
Yeah, their offensive line is not in a good place right now, and they kind of got handled by the Hawaii defensive line.
Yeah,
and that's not a good sign. I mean, Florida might beat them. That's what I'm talking about. That's how serious of an issue it is that Florida might beat them and take them down in Gainesville this year. Vandy might not be able to count on that as an easy W.
So, in order to preview that game down the road, if Graham Mertz can execute routes on air, I think he can execute against this Vandy defensive line. So, I think we're okay. But yeah, it's very concerning. On a serious note, that is very concerning for Vandy in getting almost mauled up front, and the way they got beat, I'm gonna go ahead and say get mauled up front because Hawaii should not be able to do that to any team in the Southeastern Conference.
Nope.
Not to sound a little SEC pompous, but I just don't think that should happen with the caliber of athletes that are in this region of the country.
The truth's the truth, though, Corey.
Yeah, it is, and that should never happen. Not to any one of the 14 member schools of the Southeastern Conference.
Chauncey, no, the Florida smack talk will not go away unless they beat teams that get back to being Florida. Honestly, 6-6 Florida, the smack talk is not going away.
No,
yes, Florida is not a 6-6 program, so they're going to get every bit of it. And if they go 6-6, they're going to look pretty terrible at times. They're going to earn it. They're going to earn the smack talk, or they're going to earn the not smack talk.
Yeah, and they got absolutely boat raced by Vandy last year. That's the reason that smack talk was there. And just give Vandy credit for what they did.
right.
Just give them credit for what they did.
Yes.
Hopefully, the Vandy can shore up some of the holes before that game because you're right. Hawaii just lived in their backfield. That was rough.
Yeah,
and I'm not surprised to see Hawaii play well on offense, but they should not have played well on defense.
Yeah,
Hawaii
really
is better this year than were last year, but still.
Yeah, I like their coach.
Yeah.
Their old
Timmy
player,
Chang,
what's his name?
he's the
Chang,
leading.
that's it.
Yeah, he's the leading scorer, like in school history or whatever.
Yeah, I remember
He's one
him
of the top
playing.
quarterbacks in the history of college football, as far as those stats go. Playing in the run and shoot. What do they call it now? They call it the something similar.
Yeah, he said run and gun at one point, but he kept saying something different.
It's run.
Yeah, it's run and shoot with a tight end, which basically means spread offense, right?
Yeah, but they do a lot of run and shoot concepts, but they do like their run game is different. So it's like a power and shoot or something like that. I don't know.
So is it like Lincoln Riley with the air raid?
Yeah, it's like a different variation.
Yeah, like right church, wrong pew.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right church, wrong pew. Like June Jones is like, yeah, you're sort of there.
Yeah.
But it like if you look at Timmy Chang's passing game, it's all run and shoot.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that game. I think Vanderbilt is, their offensive and defensive line is under construction. Wait. No, that's actually the stadium.
That was hilarious. That stadium.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the scoreboard in the wind just swaying. I mean, it's 100 foot. It's just swaying 100 feet above people, and I'm like, God, that's got to be dangerous. There's got to be some kind of laws against
this.
That.
Is going to be could have been first game jitters.
Michael,
it could have been, but almost got you beat by Hawaii.
That first game jitters in Hawaii last year playing on a high school field, and they put up 60-something points.
Yeah, that's true.
Chauncey, since when did you start over caring about Florida?
Right.
Chauncey has bet the over on the Florida Gators this year.
He must have. Good Lord, man. He's all of a sudden a Gator fan. Where is this coming from, Chauncey?
Well, judging by his avatar picture, it kind of works.
Yeah,
it does. He watched Swamp Kings and now is hooked on the Gators.
Yeah. And the other thing I would mention about that Vandy game was what an elite move putting Hawaii's locker room in a tent. I mean,
that's probably why they were pissed off.
A
bunch of Hawaiians, dude. Those guys are crazy.
Right.
Well, they had to put them somewhere in a tent because if you have gone to Vanderbilt Stadium and been there, the visiting team locker room was in one of the end zones.
Right.
It's probably
right underneath the goalpost. And
it's upgrade. Yeah.
The visiting locker room in Vanderbilt was not horrible. It wasn't good. Now, don't get me wrong.
It's tiny,
but but I mean, there's other places that are worse. LSU's is worse. Ole Miss's is worse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the visiting team locker room at Ole Miss is it's
South Carolina.
It's like a supply closet.
Yeah, ask Israel. He always said that. God, the words are tough today. He always said South Carolina was really bad because there was no AC. It was like cramped, like it was bad.
I'd like to see Iowa's because they apparently the locker room is pink.
Yeah, it is Pepto-Bismol pink. Everything, like everything is pink. It's hilarious. But let's get off of week 0 here, and we'll point and laugh on our way out at USC, thinking that they got Bear Alexander. And they still gave up 28 to San Jose State. And
Sharman extra soft defense. That's 3-ply. Lincoln Riley's rolling with that 3-ply at the moment in Southern California.
Hell yeah, and he got the bear from the Sharman extra commercial. So see what I did there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans. They're soft. We know it. Let's move.
Soft as Sharman.
Let's move on. Let's move on from that. All right. So we've got some action this week. I mean, Georgia's got a really tough game this week against UT Martin. Vandy's going against Alabama A&M, so hopefully they can get right. No, in all seriousness, let's talk about the first one. It is it's kicking off on Thursday, actually. So as we talk about this, it's happening tomorrow, correct?
Yes. So that might be a little bit early, and we don't do a lot on the Thursday night games, but that's one of the best games of the weekend.
Right.
So Utah is hosting Utah, who is 14th ranked, by the way, hosting the Florida Gators. Utah is 6.5-point favorites at home. I'll go ahead and throw out the line because we're about to talk about the game, and then we'll make our official picks later. But Cam Rising is out for the Utes, and I don't know the status of their backup quarterback.
Yeah, but this game's a big deal. It really is. It's a winnable game for Florida right now.
It absolutely is. I mean, you look at this Utah team, and Cam Rising means as much to that team as Devin Leary meant to the NC State Wolfpack. Like, it's one of those type of situations where, I mean, I like Utah, and they're a physical football team, and they can get after you at times, but like, I don't know that they have a whole lot of depth. And Florida, what separates the SEC from all these other conferences is not the skill positions. It's the athleticism and depth in the trenches. And even though Florida is in the bottom of the bottoms in offensive defensive line depth and talent, they're probably near the top. They could be the top of every other conference, save maybe the Big Ten, but like definitely Pac-12. So you got to be concerned if you are a fan of the Utes that I don't know that you're going to be able to, like, I don't know that the quarterback situation at Florida is going to matter in this game. I think they have a chance to mash Utah up front. And originally I was going to go Utah all the way, but I don't know now.
Don't Florida have like a defensive lineman that's like 380 something pounds?
He's over 450 pounds.
Okay, so I mean, do they have anybody that's probably 300 pounds in their line? I doubt it. So I don't know if they're going to be able to cover him at all.
Yeah, Utah needs to play tempo. Good God,
right.
they need to play tempo.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
That's
their only chance.
Yeah, that's not their mindset. They want to play slow, and if you look at the new clock rules in college football, in the NFL, the leading play team in the NFL was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 68.8 plays. There were three teams in FBS that averaged over 80 plays. So you're talking about 10% drop in play count. That's going to make plays, make like him 400 pounds on the defensive line. He might be able to survive a little bit. Mm-hmm. The defense is not going to wear down as much. I mean, this is obviously something that's been campaigned for by Nick Saban and Kirby Smart and defensive coaches. But Florida, you have somebody that's that big on the defensive line. Sure, he might be athletic. Play with tempo. Make him run side to side. If you get him tired, you have a chance to do something fairly special. That guy's too big to be playing on the defensive line. He just is.
He's too big to play anywhere because, usually people that big just can't move, and you have to be athletic. And Bryson Barnes is actually the starter for the Utes. So there you go. He came in actually in the Rose Bowl and threw a big touchdown when Cam Rising left with an injury. So he's been in big situations before. So, but I don't know, man. Like this is a weird deal here.
I don't want to give away my
pick, they lost,
so I'm probably not going to give it away. But this is not changing my opinion, I don't think. Even Cam Rising being out, this is not changing my opinion of the pick.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
Same with me.
It changes mine a little bit, obviously. And I don't know if that necessarily gives away what I was thinking. It probably does, and you probably know where I'm leaning towards now. But like when you look at spreads like this, and if I'll reiterate this when I give my pick, and I can be a little bit more brief then. But what usually happens is in games like this, early season, backup quarterbacks, both quarterbacks are going to be not great. Graham Mertz is what he is, and we don't really know what Barnes is going to be with Utah. Usually those type of spreads are typically favoring underdogs in that scenario. And when it becomes a sloppy slugfest type scenario, it usually does reward the team that's more physical and can run the ball. And I think Florida is going to lean on ETN. I think they're planning on leaning on ETN if they want to have a chance to have any success this season. They're going to have to lean on ETN. So we'll see. Like that's one of the keys that they have to do, and they have to take control of this thing early, get the Utah crowd out of it, and when they do that, they have a chance.
I honestly think the key in week one, whoever plays, is going to be fast starts because there's not going to be as many possessions, not going to be as much time to come back. Those situations for the last 5 minutes of the game because of the new rules. I think the early starts in week one that they're going to have the advantage. So it's kind of advantage home team to me.
Exactly. And I think it's gonna be a lot of teams trying to get used to that. So like, again, like some betting advice, like if you see these enormous spreads, like I don't know that teams can cover those anymore. Yeah. Got the Gators.
Smash the under.
Yeah, smash the under.
I'm definitely smashing the under.
Brock has got the Brock, you're going to lose your RTR status if you go chop.
Nah, Brock's good. He's in pretty much every one of our shows.
Yeah, that is different. Yeah, chop with a gator. That's missing a letter there, buddy.
Yeah, chop. That's Braves or Seminoles.
Oh.
That's Free Shoes University.
I can't spell citrus without UT. Which, knowing Jake, he could quite possibly be sitting on a toilet at this exact moment. Oh,
thankfully I'm not. But yeah.
Stacey, congratulations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Stacey. Yeah, we know what your night's going like. Okay. All right. I guess Jake, y'all got a new sponsor. It's called Blue Chew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, in there.
All right,
Okay,
Stacey.
All right.
I smashed it. So, that's what he's talking about. Yeah. Okay, then. Oh.
All right.
Whew. There we go.
It's got it going on. So yeah, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. So we'll get to it more in our picks, and we'll give you our official picks.
We might as well go ahead and get into the picks because there's 14 games this week.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
So
and
I do want to let everybody know that our pick segment is brought to you by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. It's time to get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Pickles, that is, offers a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots, and asparagus. It is spicy, too. It is really spicy. It's the family-owned company, handmade on the coast of Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles has been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now and has become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you will ever have. A strong dill flavor with a Cajun punch. Seriously, it's legit. No over sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at pickledstore.com or at your local Rouse's Market if you are on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Also, it's in other local southern stores near you. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra, and beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
Now, sign me up for green beans and okra. I will. Yeah, sign me up for those things.
Is the mixture that they have, and I will put this up where everybody can see it. Now, I have a green screen behind me, so it's going to be obviously because of pickles green.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job in the kick that I don't know what it's called, the juice, the sauce, whatever it sits in.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not formaldehyde. It is really good stuff, and I highly recommend everybody to do that and check it out because Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, that's some good stuff. And eventually, Corey is going to try a pickle. He is not a pickle person. He's going to try it on the air, and he'll probably cry because it's hot.
It's not the heat that bothers me, but I like Cajun spice things. I like I like that stuff. But
you're from Georgia.
I know, and I like spicy. I do. I like spice. It's not the spice that's going to bother me. It's the actual
mustard-based barbecue sauce, right?
We do, and I enjoy that too. Yeah. Can I like spicy and mustard based? Is that possible?
No, the whole point is you can't.
I can.
I don't think. All I'm saying is I don't think you can handle the Stewart's Dill Pickles heat.
I can handle the heat. Too much I just can't handle the pickle flavor.
I can't wait to.
But sign me up for the okra and the green beans. Yeah, I'm all in on the green.
Yeah,
on
not the pickled. It's the pickled.
I love okra.
Yeah, some of that read. That's the first time I went through that read, and it was a little bit of a tongue twister in parts.
There you go. It's not the heat; it's the humidity.
Yeah, exactly.
Pickled okra, pickled asparagus, pickled carrots. They do a lot of stuff.
Let's go to pickled picks.
Pickled picks. Yeah, let's
pickle picks.
And instead of the Minutemen, we're the Picklemen.
Well, maybe Stacey is.
All right, Becky. Since you kicked us off last week, voice of God, welcome to our week 1 picks presented by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, and they have okra and green beans too. So we have 14 picks. We got to get through these pretty quickly. Well, actually, not pretty quickly. We got some time.
Feel free to play along in the chat.
Feel free to play along in the chat. And Stacey, I love you, buddy. All right, so voice of God, you're up first since that was a great formula for last week. Becky,
no pressure.
No pressure. But you have our first game, no line. So it's just a winner or loser. Missouri is hosting South Dakota of the Missouri Valley Conference.
Okay, so we all know that I'm a football expert, but for those listening that might not be, why are half of these games no line?
FCS.
Because FCS on them.
Yeah. So they're just too far apart to.
They don't usually put a line on the FCS versus Power 5 games. They don't usually do that.
Okay.
Because it's free money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm there. So no line, South Dakota versus Missouri. Y'all, I'm just of the opinion if Missouri can't beat South Dakota, they should be kicked out of the SEC. Like, there's just no excuse for them to lose this game. So Missouri.
Okay.
Now I want to pick the South Dakota Coyotes.
Jake, you're up for I don't know if Cassidy is actually on, but you're up for you and Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm picking Missouri. Cassie's picking Missouri, but I'm actually like Becky. If they can't beat South Dakota, they need to leave the conference because they're not going to win a single game in the conference that can't beat them. So I'm going to keep my pick and say Missouri.
All right. Yep.
Man, wouldn't this be fun if it was like the WWE and you had some of these matches that were win or retire or something like that? That'd be fun. Just see if Missouri gets
Loser
kicked
leave
out.
town.
But yeah, exactly. Whoever gets to breathe the real Columbia. I don't know. Anyway, it'd be fun if you could do some kind of betting on some of these games. But either way, no, I'm not real big on Missouri this season, but they're going to beat South Dakota, so I'm definitely taking them.
And
right.
obviously Mizzou. And Eli Drinkwitz is going to say something really clever afterwards that is absolutely stupid. You can count on that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So a little fun fact about the Fighting Coyotes from Sioux City, South Dakota. Their offense was impressively bad last year. So they hired a new coach. So they got some new things going on over there. They hired a coach from the crosstown Jackrabbits. So that'll be fun. So that should be an easy win. A chance to clear the bench for the Missouri Tigers.
By the way, the Dakotas, best two-name state like pairing in the country, I think, of nicknames. You've got the Coyotes, you've got the Jackrabbits, you've got the Bison.
Yeah.
And you've got
no, that's North Dakota. So that's a different state.
No, he said the two Dakotas, Corey.
The two Dakotas.
Okay.
Yeah,
pay attention.
You got to pay attention.
Two Dakotas. Okay.
Listen,
all right. So we all picked South Dakota. Okay. So now we go out to Salt Lake City. Got it. Now we did not pick all. We picked all Missouri. All right. So we go out to Salt Lake City. This game from our picks looks to be pretty split. Becky, why don't you kick it off?
Okay. I don't know much about Utah. All I know is that they use apple juice for their beer pong, and Florida uses Everclear. So I'm gonna put my money on Florida, toughen it out in this one.
Sounds about right. Light it on fire, spit it out.
All right. Wow. I love this. Jake,
that's my wife.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Cass and I both picking Utah, even with Cam Rising out. I just do not trust Graham Mertz to lead any kind of offense against Utah. Utah don't really play a lot of defense, but Graham Mertz is not a great quarterback. So I just don't see. It's a 6.5 spread. So Utah only has to win by 7, and it's covered. So I'm sticking with Utah.
All right. And for me, I said it earlier, I didn't do a good job of not giving away my pick, but I'm going with the Gators here just because I think when you get a situation like this and you get a what looks to be a sloppy run fest with both teams, sloppy physical run fest, that usually favors the underdog. And with a 6.5 point spread, I'm going to go with the Gators here. I don't really want to, but I feel like I have to.
You skipped Jeb.
Did I skip Jeb? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jeb, you're up there.
It's okay.
I didn't skip him.
Well, no, I think I'm going with Florida too. When I heard that Utah didn't have their starting quarterback, and I also think they lost one of their better pass catchers in a tight end as well for this game. It just felt to me like this is going to be one of those games where there is a lot of running, a lot of sloppy play, and Florida just in my mind, I feel like this is going to happen. They're going to have a good game. They're going to look decent, and they're going to start getting a little hyped up and a little too big for their britches before they get knocked down in later games. But this seems like one of those, like last year, where they just came out and beat the crap out of Utah and thought they were going to be great, and then they were just terrible. I feel like it's going to – I don't know if they're going to win, but I feel like they're going to be better than we think in the first games, just so we're talking about them a lot in the next couple of games.
Yeah, Utah's starting a second-string quarterback, and this is how that affected me. I had Utah winning this game by like 21 points with Cam Rising when I thought he was going to play. When he wasn't going to play, I knocked it down 2 touchdowns. That's still Utah covering.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Utah is going to win the game. And there's no Anthony Richardson. There's no super athlete to bail out Utah this time. I think Florida's going to run the ball, and it could be powerful, but where is the production going to come from? Is it going to be Trevor Etienne? Is it going to be Ricky Pearsall? It's not going to be Graham Mertz.
Right.
So
It's gonna be the run game. It's gonna be ETN.
Yeah, but in that case, you're in a very slow, short game. The game is going to be extremely shortened down.
Yeah,
and
which is advantage underdog in this scenario.
yeah, but the home team has the advantage of starting quick, and it might be a situation that Florida's down by 2 touchdowns before they really get into the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
could happen.
Yeah.
So the panel split.
I just don't think that Utah can do it with a backup quarterback. But that's just me. Let's move on.
Is Utah's backup quarterback worse than Graham Mertz?
No.
I don't know, but I don't think that's going to matter.
Yeah.
I think you make those two things.
I think Rice Eccles is a difficult place to play, and I think the SEC pixie dust gets spread around sometimes. And this might be that time.
Well, we'll truly see what the talent and depth is like up front in this game. So let's move on. Kentucky, 26.5-point favorites over Ball State. So Ball State getting their SEC slate in early. Kentucky this week, Georgia the next. Becky.
I just think it's super cute that we're still pretending Kentucky can dominate somebody. I mean, they're going to win, but they're not going to dominate. I'm taking Ball State.
Taking the fighting Dave Lettermans. I love it. Jake, you and Cassidy.
Yeah, we're picking Kentucky because I don't know why she picked Kentucky, but I'm picking because I believe in Devin Leary. I mean, I've seen what he can do. I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game, and I do think they win by at least 28 to 30 points.
All right, Jeb.
I wanted to take Ball State just because I don't see Kentucky just recently hasn't been a team to me that dominates people. They run well, and often I think, okay, they're going to win this game, but maybe they'll run the clock down and not score that much. But I don't know. Kentucky's had good passers in the past. They know how to do it. It's not that they can't. And this guy does seem like he's going to be a good quarterback. I have a lot of faith issues with these transfer quarterbacks coming in and being as great as everybody thinks. But for this week, just because of how bad Ball State is, I'm taking Kentucky to cover that large spread. We'll see if I regret it or not.
I think I'm with you. I'm with Jake. I think Kentucky's going to cover this thing early. Clock rules or not, I think they're going to cover this thing early. Ball State is horrendous. Devin Leary is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's definitely in the upper half for sure, and high in the upper half. So I like the Wildcats here, minus 26.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Devin Leary, I think the two best quarterbacks in the SEC this year is going to be Jackson Dart and Devin Leary. And
Jackson Dart and Walker Howard.
They had a fishing competition this week on the Ole Miss the season, but that's a whole nother thing. Walker Howard beat Jackson Dart.
That is the most
just so everybody knows.
ever.
Joe Milton would have thrown that rod further.
Yeah, he would have. But my favorite joke ever. By the way, before I give my pick, I had Michael Bratton on my show on
Didn't you just give
Thursday
your
night. Well, it's Kentucky, but whatever. Michael Bratton, who's a Tennessee guy, he went to Tennessee. That SEC podcast guy, and I made my Joe Milton only person in the stadium that didn't want to throw the football, and I don't think Michael was impressed.
How can you not be?
Steve, this is impressive. You're pissing off everybody. I love it. So, speaking of Joe Milton and Michael Bratton and those Tennessee Vols, they travel to Nashville to take on the Cavaliers of Virginia at Nissan Stadium on ABC. Definitely not going to be able to watch that because DirecTV Stream will not allow it because they don't have a deal with ABC. Might have to stream it on the app actually, but. Tennessee is 28-point favorites at home against Virginia. Virginia coming off a very, very rough end to their season. I don't know if they can honestly pick up the pieces, but Becky, why don't you kick us off?
I really like it for Jeb that Tennessee is getting better. They're looking better. They're starting to feel like they're going to dominate everybody. They're also going to experience some performance anxiety this weekend. They're going to win, but they are not going to dominate Virginia. I'm taking Virginia to cover the spread.
Wow.
Performance anxiety.
It broke my heart.
Jake,
maybe Tennessee needs some Blue Chews.
Stacey, why don't you lend them some?
Some hymns.
We're
discreet packaging.
we're picking Tennessee. I don't know how good Joe Milton's going to be in this game, which it remains to be seen on him, much like a lot of quarterbacks in the SEC this year. But Virginia last year's offense was just abysmal. I just don't see how they're going to move against even though Tennessee's defense is not up to par yet. I just don't see they're going to move the ball against Tennessee. So I think Tennessee covers easily.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go with Jeb on this one. Jeb, what you got?
I feel like, okay, I know what's going to happen as a Tennessee fan in this game. We are going to win this one big. We're going to live in their backfield. Our secondary is actually going to look decent. Joe Milton's going to have a great game, and it's going to get us all really hyped up for this season so that we are that much more disappointed later in the season. But just that's how it works as a Vols fan. But this is in the first game. They will have a huge game. It'll look great, and we will have a lot to talk about next week when it comes to it. Which, by the way, this one being in Nashville while I'm in prison in Nashville, great time, and I'm going to be at this game.
Are you going to get work release to go?
Yeah, you're going to get work release?
That's right.
Well, he already has the orange.
This is for nice. And for a Tennessee fan, this counts as a conjugal. So it's gonna be a good game.
There you go.
It was the old joke. Tennessee wears orange so they can wear orange to the game on Saturday, pick up trash on the road on Monday, and go back to jail or
go
something.
hunting on Sunday or something like that.
They hunt. They go to the Vols game. They hunt and they go back to jail. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brock, Virginia, they had to end their season early last year because of a mass shooting on campus. That was not
sad.
Great. I mean, outside of that, it was looking dumpster fire-ish. So they got a lot to clean up as far as that goes. I just don't think they're in a good place right now. I just think maybe they need to change of leadership in that football program. That's not going to happen right now, but I think Tennessee is set to have a big season. This is step number one. I think Joe Milton's going to have a great game. I think the defense is going to have a great game. I think you're going to see Tennessee get up on them really quickly. They're going to probably cruise to a 31 to 34 point win in this one here in Nashville, and Tennessee fans are going to enjoy Broadway. Give me the Vols.
Yeah, Tennessee is okay. Tennessee is going to be good. Virginia is god awful. And as long as they're god awful, that offense is going to be able to take advantage and jump on the Virginia Cavaliers. It might be 35-0 at halftime. So take the Vols.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Vols big. All right. So another no line. I think we're going to move through some of these no line ones pretty quickly. We're all on board with Arkansas at Western Carolina, the Catamounts. Mercer at Ole Miss. No one's going with Mercer, are they?
No.
Okay. So UMass actually destroyed our picks last week.
Yeah.
Now,
not all of our picks. Not all of our picks.
Yeah. Respect. Put some respect in your voice for the mass holes.
Yeah.
So the mass holes, they got me, that's for sure. But Becky, why don't you tell us why the mass holes have a chance to cover this weekend at Auburn?
They're going to cover because Auburn, Hugh Freeze, and I'm going to go and say it, Auburn alums can't even count to 35. It's not going to be a big deal.
35.5.
Yeah, no. Mass holes are going to come through again.
Fractions aren't their thing.
Neither is football this year.
All right. Jake, it seems like the house is divided here.
Yeah, the house is divided because Cassidy's her first love is Georgia, then it's Auburn, of course, as we all know. So that's why it's split. She's taking Auburn. I'm not taking Auburn for anything this year. It's going to take a year or two, or it's going to take maybe next year before Auburn and that Hugh Freeze offense, gets his guys in. So I'm taking UMass to cover this spread. They might not win. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they keep it close enough.
Cassidy picking two Georgia schools is pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, ain't it? Yeah.
West Georgia University. That's what you did there. All right, Jeb.
I'm glitching a bit here, so I hope I get through all this. But yeah, no, I agree. Auburn's going to win, but that's
You're
35
running
and a
out
half
of
points.
minutes.
That's way too much. I'm sorry. They got some stuff to work out. They're new coach and new players. There's no way. I think UMass keeps this a lot closer to that. I think Auburn pulls away a little bit in the end, but nowhere near 35 and a half points.
You remember what I said about new clock rules and massive spreads?
UMass to cover. Sorry.
Here you go. UMass. I think UMass is pitiful, but I just don't think I don't know. A 35 and a half point spread is going to be hard to cover with the new clock rules and with Auburn having some things to work out anyway offensively with the quarterback position. Like if they miss on one drive, they probably won't. And UMass scores, they probably won't cover. Like 42-10 is not a cover. 42-7 is not a cover.
Yeah. Right.
Like if UMass scores at all, Auburn's gonna have to get in the 60s probably to get a cover on this. But
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Mass holes. Steve.
Okay. It's my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
This is all you need to know about the Auburn Tigers, the Auburn Go Eagles. They got a player to flip from Ole Miss who was walking onto Ole Miss's team. An SCS wide receiver was walking onto Ole Miss's team. Auburn gave him a scholarship, brought him on campus, and I think he's the best receiver they have at the moment. His name's Shane Hooks. So pay attention to what he does.
Okay.
But that is not a very good look at what wide receiver can potentially be. I think Auburn's might be all right, but I do not think they can cover 35 and a half points against anybody, especially against UMass, who looked competent against New Mexico State.
They did look competent.
Yeah, this is the first FBS win in 40 years.
Yeah.
To open the season for UMass.
I was surprised what they were able to do last week. Like I was so confident that they're so bad that I was going to be able to make that pick, but they shoved it right down my throat.
Jeb, you all right? You there? You froze for a second. I think he's gone.
He ran out of minutes. So our next three games are no line. Mississippi State at Southeast Louisiana on SEC plus. So we're all going with the Bulldogs there. Georgia, a very tough one against UT Martin. That is also on SEC plus. And Vandy, also on SEC Network plus. They're going against Alabama A&M. We're all across the board, Mississippi State, Georgia, and Vandy. So it brings us to our next game, A&M, 38.5 point favorites in College Station against the Lobos of New Mexico, the Fighting Urlackers. Becky.
I just have this weird feeling that A&M's check is going to bounce a couple hours before the game, and they ain't pulling it off with 38.5 over New Mexico. So I'm going to take New Mexico.
Whoop.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah,
Jake.
Corey's having a stroke up there. Anyway, I don't think A&M is going to cover this spread, so I'm taking New Mexico.
Jeb.
Oh, can you hear us?
Dynamite dropping, Monty.
These broadcasting
still
classes
cutting it
are
out
really
here.
paying off.
we
but
hear
it's
you.
Texas A&M in New Mexico. Yeah. Okay, good. Then yes, I'm going with New Mexico too, just because of the spread being so large. I just don't have faith in Texas A&M to beat anybody that bad right now. They're gonna have to show me before I start picking that.
I think if you set the line at 38.5 arguments between Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher, I might take that line. But they sure as heck will not cover a 30.5 point spread, because that would require them A, to score 40, B, to shut them out. I think any points on the board again for New Mexico means that A&M's going to have to put up a huge number, and I think with the new clock rules, they're not going to have time to put up a huge number, especially if New Mexico scores. So I like it around 28, 30, 31 point win for A&M, which is, guess what? Not a cover. So give me the Lobos and the points. More so the points. I'm not saying the Lobos are going to win, but give me the points.
Texas A&M is favored by more points than they've scored in the last 2 years, I think. something like that, some obscene amount. And this is a game that I think A&M is going to win, but it might be like 45-10. But guess what? That's not a cover, so I'm gonna go with New Mexico.
There you go. Very, very easy breezy. All right, so we got an actual matchup here with an actual line. The Tar Heels and the Gamecocks coming at you from Charlotte. I think that's the afternoon game, the 3:30 Eastern game. The Tar Heels are 2.5-point favorites over South Carolina. Becky.
Nope. Gamecocks are going to shove this game down North Carolina's throat. I'm saying at least by 14.
Okay. Cassidy and Jake, the power couple.
I got that.
We're picking South Carolina as well. And Cassidy also picked New Mexico in that last game. But we're picking South Carolina. I'm being high on Shane Beamer. Since he got hired on, he's done really well with the limited amount of talent he had when he first started at South Carolina. He's just gotten better each year. So North Carolina, Drake May's really good, but overall the team around him is just decent. I think South Carolina can win and cover this, by 14 or so, like Becky said.
Jeb?
When I looked at this game, to me, it just kind of came out as a toss-up, which the small line here pretty much agrees with, so it being only 2.5 points. So I'm going with the team I like better, and that's North Carolina. I just don't like South Carolina. So don't like Shane Beamer. Don't like Spencer Rattler. So I'm going with North Carolina.
I like Drake May better. I like Mac Brown a lot better, but I just don't think they have the roster to hold up with South Carolina. I mean, even as inconsistent as Spencer Rattler can be, again, this goes down to up front. With the, front seven on defense, the five big uglies on the offensive line. I just think South Carolina has more depth and better talent there. North Carolina is a third place ACC team, which the ACC is putrid this year. Outside of Clemson and Florida State, I'm not sure who's who in the ACC. It's going to be a very weak year for that conference. So
Clemson has to show me outside of Florida State. I would say.
I think Clemson has they are, but they have a chance. But more so, it's Florida State and maybe Clemson, and then everybody else. Like Drake may win Offensive Player of the Year in the ACC, but that doesn't really say much about him. It just says
valedictorian in summer school. Yeah,
that type of situation. So I think South Carolina may even roll in this one.
I like South Carolina in this game because mainly with Phil Longo leaving North Carolina and going to Wisconsin, I think that offense is going to struggle a little bit. I think Drake May is going to look like a different quarterback, real similar to what KJ Jefferson. I think system's everything. Mm-hmm. And I think that Spencer Rattler is not going to be great, but he might be good. And we'll see what he looks like because he has like his 17th offensive coordinator in college as well. So
all he needs to be is good. This one.
So I without them having Marshawn Lloyd at running back, I'm curious to see what that would look like. I'm curious to see what they look like at the tight end position with the transfer from Arkansas. South Carolina is intriguing me because everything tells me that they were going to be good. But then when I look at their roster and their pieces that they have, I just don't see it. Yeah. But I am going to pick South Carolina in this game, and it's probably going to burn me.
I don't think it will. Not in this one. It may burn you later, but I don't think in this one. So, Jake, this one's for you. But Becky, you're going to go first, obviously. But Alabama, 39.5-point favorites hosting MTSU, the Blue Raiders, the ones that took down the Hurricanes. So, I think they just need to send MTSU down to Florida, and they'll stop the Hurricane. But
Hurricanes in Georgia now.
Oh, they need to go down to South Georgia then. Hopefully Israel can get his power back. Actually, he doesn't have power right now.
Uh-oh.
And there's some pretty massive flooding in parts of Valdosta. So
I don't know. Them. Obviously, yes. I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks that MTSU is going to win. The thing that I am concerned about is I think that we're going to be really surprised at how not dominant or lackluster Alabama is. I don't know why. I just feel like this is going to obviously be an easy win for Bama, but it's not going to be an impressive win. So I'm taking MTSU to cover the spread.
Okay.
Not personal.
Hey,
Except that Alabama sucks.
That was I was waiting for like some sort of like Saban quip or they were too busy like auditioning for Sorority Rush on HBO.
Did you watch that?
I did not watch that.
It was horrifying. Everybody should watch that.
I'm probably
Horrifying.
going to.
I'm not watching it.
I'm probably
sweet
going.
Lord.
Jake,
Well,
you
I
should
believe
do
Becky, why would you need to watch that? You went to Ole Miss. You saw it live.
And it was horrifying live.
Yeah.
I went to Georgia. I also saw it live.
Hey, put a bunch of cameras in sorority houses? No, I definitely didn't watch that.
All right, Joe.
Don't go, okay.
Is this why you're in jail right now? Because you look. Oh, yeah.
It's
There
called
you go.
timeout.
This is-
Long story.
Jake.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
go call it, Jack.
All right. So let me just say this: all season, all summer, we had to hear about how the dynasty's dying, and now everybody's
Dead is the word, not dying.
Yeah,
it's been dying the
dead.
last couple of years. Yeah,
but now everybody's picking Alabama to win the West. So I don't think the dynasty's dying as long as Saban's there.
Define everybody.
Above average Joe, you may not be wrong.
I mean, all of College Game Day pretty much said it, and Josh Payton come out and said it. So
Stacey,
to be
that's
fair,
not
I
a
think
cover.
I think Desmond Howard picked Texas A&M to go to the playoff last year.
he's got mid,
Yeah.
This is going to be a different Alabama team this year. It's going to be more physical, and regardless of quarterback, we may not still have a quarterback after this game, but we do have 5 running backs who can run the ball. And I just think as long as you got those guys, at least this week, I think, and then you get the defense to have a couple of turnovers and you get some short field situations. I think Alabama can cover this. I picked last night on our previous show, 54-10. So that's what I'm going with.
That's barely a cover, by the way.
But still, it's a cover.
Yeah.
Barely.
That's crazy. That's how big that line is.
Yeah,
Jeb?
it is.
Jeb. Sergeant, let Jeb talk.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I missed a little bit at the end of that because of cutting out again. But all right, well, as far as I look, MTSU to me is just kind of one of those dangerous teams. They're not going to win. It's not going to be a Miami upset like it was last year or anything. But I feel like they can keep this close, and I'm going to pick them to do it. I worry that in the end, Alabama will just kind of run away with it in the last quarter and cover the spread. But to me, it looks more like a 31 or 35-point win is what I'm thinking. So I'm taking MTSU to just barely cover the spread.
Okay, part of me thinks that Alabama
Did y'all
is
catch
just
all that?
going to – yeah, we did.
Mhm.
We did. That's a very good pick. Part of me
Okay.
wants to agree with you and be like, Bama's going to be bored. They're just going to run the crap out of the ball, and they're going to deflate the, and it's going to be like one of those like, it could have been way worse, but they only win by 35 because they just got bored,
Yeah,
and Saban needed something to yell at everybody about. But the
They're
other
gonna
half
do it
of me, the other half of me is like, okay, yeah, this one is going to be like a 56-3 type game where Bama just unleashes hell and then coast in the fourth quarter. So I'm taking Bama to cover this. This is like I know what I said about really big spreads. I think Bama is an exception to that rule, so I'm taking the Roll Tide. First time, long time, Paul.
Bama's going to play murder ball this year. So the world is going to get to see the Alabama team that we remember probably that beat you 31-3, and it feels like it was 75-0. So that is going to be their MO moving forward. So
Brock, you're not
I
wrong.
do think MTSU is going to score in this game, whether it be a fumble or an interception. I think Alabama's quarterback play isn't quite where it needs to be yet. So I think they're going to kick a field goal. So the question is, can Alabama score 45 points? And because 42-3 is not a cover.
Right.
That's an MTSU win. So 42-3 is not going to be it. So 45 and up is almost necessary. I think Alabama is going to be able to do that. I'm really interested to see if it's Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson.
I think it's Milroe.
Yeah.
I think Milroe's the guy. I like Milroe a lot.
Yeah. So we'll see exactly what happens on Saturday, but I think Alabama is going to be able to cover this line.
And Rick and Bonnie, I think Saban will be able to be conservative and still cover this line because the running game is so strong and the defense just is going to be difficult. So our last game, a game that shocked a bunch of us last year. Is this a neutral site again?
Yeah, this is in Orlando.
This is okay. This is in Orlando. So FSU is essentially hosting LSU. LSU essentially hosted FSU in New Orleans last year. Special teams was the story in this game a year ago. LSU comes in as 2.5-point favorites as reigning SEC West champs. Becky?
Y'all, I know I'm not supposed to because I'm Ole Miss, but I just like LSU. I think they're going to look good, and I'm really looking forward to this game. LSU by 10.
Okay. Jake and Cassidy. Now that Cassidy's in the chat, drop your pick in there.
Yeah. We're picking Florida State. I mean, they already got the leg up on them last year. LSU may come out mad about that loss, but and LSU was a different team since, that first game. But, Travis Hunter is a really good quarterback, and he lit up LSU secondary last year. So
Jordan Travis.
Travis Hunter's the dude that plays at Colorado.
I knew he was a Travis guy, but anyway.
Jordan Travis. He's in the Heisman race.
Right. So I think he's gonna have another big game, and I'm picking Florida State. Travis Hunter's at Colorado now, I think.
Yeah, I just said that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Echo. All right, Jeb.
Yeah, I don't know. The media is kind of falling in love with LSU this year, and I don't think they're going to end up winning the West. I still think Bama's going to win that, but at the same time, I do feel like they're going to come out in this first game and look pretty good. I like Florida State. I think they're going to have a good season too, but just with this one being kind of a toss-up, I'm giving the edge to LSU this year. I think they cover the spread and win the game.
Spread is 2.5, Stacey.
Just 2.5, by the way.
Yeah, it's just 2.5. It's a pick 'em. I think this is going to be a very, very fun game. I think it's going to be one of those high-scoring affairs. Kind of the opposite of what Florida and Utah is going to be. Both quarterbacks are really good, Jaden Daniels and Jordan Travis. I think both of them have electric weapons all around the field. Jalen Neighbors for LSU. I think both defenses are very, very similar. I think these are two very evenly matched teams. And Florida State is one of my teams that I'm looking for to possibly make the playoff if they're undefeated. So, and that'll be an easy thing to do in the ACC. But I think Florida State, albeit they have a really good chance to win this game, I think LSU, I think they squeak it out. I think special teams lost it for them a year ago. I think special teams wins it for them this year. Give me the Tigers.
Florida State got Keon Coleman. Their wide receivers are amongst the best in college football. Jordan Travis has all sorts of weapons. Their running back is fantastic. And this is probably the best defensive line that LSU is going to play all season. All of that saying, I just genuinely think Florida State's going to win this game and win it fairly easily. Now,
ask me who I'm rooting for versus ask who I think I'm going to win. I'm rooting for FSU. FSU is in my family. Family. So, and I know it kills you, Steve, and Becky to pick LSU. But Steve, you're not picking LSU, but it would kill you to pick LSU. So, I really would like Florida State to win this game. I just don't think they will. So. But that's going to do it for us tonight.
That was quick.
Wait. I got a quick question if I can, y'all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry. I know.
Sorry.
You know our wrap-ups usually take about 4 or 5 minutes anyway, so go ahead.
Who is the old man football team this year in the SEC? Like, who am I looking for when I want to see defense just kill somebody?
Alabama.
Okay. All right.
That's
so they're
old
going to
man
be the
football
ones
this
setting
year.
people down. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
this-
then I look forward to
Who that I
watching
can
that.
stand to watch.
I don't know with Mike Bobo
no
calling
no,
the shots. Georgia
no.
kind of
No, it's just going to be different. I promise you. It's going to be a continuation sort of what Todd Monken did. Like that's what Kirby wants. Like that's why he said, Mike Bobo, you're the guy, because you spent a year learning Todd Monken's system. You're going to continue with Todd Monken's system. He's not going to do all the I formation toss stuff. He may do a little bit of it, but he's not going to do that.
yeah. And also Ole Miss has like led the SEC in rushing for like 3 straight years.
But they're not the old man football team
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
It's
they're not
going to
the
be
old man
murder
football
ball.
team.
That's going to be the murder ball tide
Mm.
with the freak nasty defense, as Brock says. So
Okay, well, at least I have something to look forward to when the Bama game's on. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Dallas Turner
Darn
tried
right.
to kill Jackson Dart last year. So
yeah, Georgia does have some outside weapons. We are kind of beat up though, but I love me some Dominic Lovett. I love me some Ra Thomas, some Lad McConkey, and then some of these young guys you're gonna see some names that like you're like, who, like Jackson Meeks or Dylan Bell. You know, those guys. You know, you're going to see some of the.
I heard a rumor that y'all lining up Brock Bowers at running back because of so many injuries. So
we're lining up Brock Bowers wherever the heck we need to.
Yeah.
He's going to have a headset on
Just drive
underneath his
everywhere.
helmet
right.
so that he can call his own plays, and he's going to be serving drinks in the suites.
There you go.
He's
Nice.
doing
So-
it all, and
Yeah.
he's the announcer too.
Mhm.
Branson Robinson out for the year.
Yeah, tough injury because he was
Yeah,
that dude was like.
he's a dude.
2.0. He's a dude. But Andrew Paul actually has had some good reps, and he was kind of going to factor in the mix. He's going to factor way more in the mix than he probably thought he was going to. Dejon Edwards is going to have to lead the way. Kendall Milton, they got some soft tissue stuff. They'll probably take it a little bit easy this week and probably on into next week so they can be ready for South
Lower
Carolina.
body injury. Did you learn
Yeah.
that from Dan Mullen?
Yeah, it's a lower body injury. It's hamstrings. Really, what it is. So you're
You're
going to see a
right.
lot
It
of Brock
takes 4
Bowers,
minutes.
a lot of Oscar Delp. Hey, I'm not lying. It's every week. You can time it. It's every week. So yeah, like I said, we are SEC After Dark. So a little programming note before we get out of here. Catch us on our season finale, season 2 preview / of 1923 on After Dark commentary. We're gonna you're gonna see that in a couple of days. So that's going to be something fun to watch.
And Derek Vandegrift has been just absolutely killing it. Check out all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched it today. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Pretty fantastic. And we're still waiting on Jeb to do that first podcast.
Yeah, come on, Jeb. Once you get out of the penitentiary, you can do it.
When they let you out.
Once he gets work release. But remember, Jeb, it is work release.
I built a
Stacey, we'll
set.
try.
I just
Make no promises.
got to get back home.
Well, we got that. We got Biscuits and SEC Friday night.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, they're going to come in and preview the weekend. We'll have them up. And Locked On College Football Kickoff will be Friday morning from 10 Central to 12 noon. They're doing a show every week, and tune in for that as well. That's on my channel, Locked On Ole Miss. So we have a lot of good stuff that people can do.
Yeah, and Bleav In Georgia Dawgs as well. Israel is dealing with some power outage issues, so it's probably going to be me flying solo this week, but that's okay. We're playing UT Martin, so it's not like it's a huge game anyway. So it'll be me doing a little bit, and catch me on that, and I'll kind of make some other picks from around college football as well. And you can catch us. You can always catch us here. We're gonna bring back some of our YouTube shorts as well as we go. That was kind of fun when we started it. We kind of got off of that train a little bit, but we're gonna bring that stuff back. So for Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas, I'm Corey Burton. We thank the Voice of God for participating as our producer, and we'll be back here next week, better than ever. Hopefully improved on picks. Hopefully we'll make you some money if you bet on our picks, and we'll catch you back here next week. Or don't. If you make money by avoiding our picks, that's
right.
Also we'll take that too. So we are SEC After Dark, presented by DeadSoxy. and Bet Online, and Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, and Okra and Green Beans. We'll catch you back here next week. So long. Go Dogs.
Toddy.
Roll Tide.
Vols.